Welcome back to SSM Masters. In this video, we will cover the rest of the questions from our chapter number 4. But before covering those questions, we have some important aspects from sales tax and we have to cover them first. Businesses may require to pay sales tax on their purchases, and the businesses may also charge sales tax on their sales. That means we have two types of sale tax. The first is known as input tax and the second one is known as output tax. If we talk about input tax, then it is incurred on purchases. And input tax is a tax which is paid by your business to acquire goods or services. An example of input tax is the value added tax or VAT. But on other hand, we have output tax which is charged on sales. So output tax is a tax that a VAT registered business is required to charge on its taxable supplies from its customer, and it is payable to HMRC, which is the tax authority in UK. So in case if the input tax of businesses are greater than output tax, then in that case the businesses can reclaim the difference from HMRC as a form of VAT refund. Now this VAT registration can be compulsory for the businesses, or the businesses may voluntarily register for VAT. Now the question is when it is compulsory for the businesses to get registered for VAT. So the answer is if taxable sales of a business exceed to a certain amount for any specific tax year, then in that case businesses must have to get registered for VAT. On other hand, if the businesses are dealing in zero rated supplies, then in that case businesses can also voluntarily get registered for VAT in order to claim input tax relief. Now, if you have any question that what are zero rated supplies or what are taxable supplies, then here we will discuss them. So here we have three types of supplies. First of all, we have exempt supplies, then we have those supplies which are out of the scope of VAT, and finally we have taxable supplies. So exempt supplies are those supplies on which no VAT is charged at any rate. Then we have those supplies which are out of the scope of VAT. That means there is no effect of VAT on such as supplies. And finally we have taxable supplies. These are the supplies which do not fall into rest of the two categories. Now we have three subcategories of taxable supplies. In taxable supplies, first of all we have standard rated supplies on which standard rate of VAT is charged, which is 20%. Then we have zero rated supplies on which 0% tax rate is charged. And finally we have reduced taxable supplies on which 5% tax is charged. The zero rate usually applies to the essential items such as food, books, newspapers, export, etc. But the reduced tax rate is usually charged to different energy saving items. Now you may have a question that what is the difference between exempt supplies and zero rated supplies. So basically the major difference is related to input tax. For example, the businesses who are dealing in zero rated supplies, they can claim input tax from HMRC, but the businesses who are dealing in exempt supplies, they cannot claim any kind of input tax from HMRC. So now it's time to solve these questions. First of all, we have question number 26. Which of the following statement is true regarding the relationship between businesses registered for sales tax and relevant tax authority? First of all, we have option A. Businesses should pay over the input tax on purchases to tax authority. This option is wrong because businesses pay this input tax to the seller, and seller acts as middleman or agent on the behalf of HMRC, and it is the responsibility of seller to pay this tax to tax authorities. Okay, so this option A is wrong. Tax authorities should refund to businesses the value of output tax, and again this option is also wrong because the tax authorities refund on the value of input tax, not on the value of output tax. So both of these options are wrong. Then next we have option C. Businesses submit periodic sales tax return to tax authorities showing up output tax and input tax, and make payment to tax authorities when output tax exceeds input tax for the period. And yes, it's true. And in case if input tax exceeds output tax, then in that case businesses can reclaim tax refund. So this option is a correct option. Then next we have question number 27. Which two of the following are valid reasons for businesses to register for sales tax in a country which permits voluntary registration? Exempt sale exceed a limit for compulsory registration set by tax authorities? No. Taxable sales exceed a limit for compulsory registration set by tax authority. In that case, we have to register for sales tax. Businesses fall under any specified limits but make standard rated supplies. No, the businesses are required to make zero rated supplies if they voluntarily want to register for sales tax. So this option is also incorrect. The businesses fall under any specified limits but makes zero rated supplies and is charged input tax by supplier. And yes, it's a valid reason. So both of these options are valid options. Next we have question number 28. A is registered for sales tax. He makes sales of $25,000 including sales tax and purchased goods for $7,000 excluding sales tax. The opening balance on the sales tax account was 500 credit. Sales tax is 20%. That means he is dealing in standard rated supplies. So the question is, what is the closing balance on the sales tax account? Okay, fine. So this 500 credit is basically liability for A. Okay. Now we have to calculate liability or refund for this year because it is the brought forward liability of 500. Okay. So here he purchased some goods. That means he will get refund on these purchases. But above here he sold out something. That means he have to pay tax on that amount. Now this 25,000 is inclusive of sales tax. That means this 25,000 is 120% actually. For example, 100% of sales and 20% of sales tax. And we want to know the figure for sales tax purpose. Okay. That means we will use this 25,000. We will multiply it with 20%, which is our tax rate, and we will divide it by 120% because this 25,000 is 120%. Just ignore this percentage sign. And after the calculation, we will get 4167. Okay. Now it is the amount which we are required to pay HMRC because it is the amount related to our sales. Now we have also purchased some goods. That means we can also claim some refund against those purchases. Now this time this amount is exclusive of sales tax. That means sales tax amount is not already included into this amount. Okay, so we will simply use this amount and multiply by 20%. The answer will be 1400. So that means this 4167 is payable. This outstanding 500 is also payable, and this 1400 we have just calculated is our refund 1400. So we will get this amount 3267 as a result, which is payable to HMRC. I hope you understand this question. Then next we have question number 29. What is the trial balance? A list of ledger balances extracted from customer's account. It's wrong. A list of general ledger account balances which acts as basic check on the accuracy of bookkeeping. And yes, it's true because from general ledger we shift all the balances to trial balance in order to check their accuracy. So this option B is true. So the next we have question number 30. Which of the following errors would be a possible reasons for trial balance failing to agree? That means if the trial balance is failing to agree That means our debit side and credit side are not equal. Okay, and we have to find out such an option where our debit and credit side fails to agree. So first of all, we have option A, sales of $500 entered correctly. That means our credit side is $500 but entered as 1500 in the receivable ledger control account. That means we have debited it with 1500. That means the balance of debit side is more than $1000, and that's why our trial balance is failing to agree. So the correct option is option A. And that's all for this video. See you in our next lecture. Thank you very much.